Here are current members of our school, most likely our Year 10 boys, and a number of you are currently part of our Tihoi program and on exit break. So no mai haere mai, welcome back, and hopefully as you move towards the end of your Tihoi Intake 1 experience, that all of those sort of moments to capture fellowship, to continue to challenge yourself, we wish you the very best with all of those things. I appreciate that we have some Year 9s here in the chapel this evening, and congratulations to you and your whānau for wanting to get ahead of the game and gain some extra information. And then also, importantly, in the chapel here this evening, a number of young females, Year 10, who have been through the enrolment process, who are locked in, who are joining us next year as part of the Year 11 cohort 2026. And just want to say a very warm welcome to you and your parents as well. This evening is a chance over the next 25 minutes or so for our Deputy Headmaster, Mr. Jeremy Coley, and myself to give you some really important information around our Year 11 curriculum. From the outset, can I say that we do appreciate that at this time, at the end of a busy week, that gaining any sort of information, it's kind of a cognitive load scenario of how much can actually go in and stay in. Please know that this particular presentation is being recorded, and as a result of that, not only the recording, but also the PowerPoint that you'll see on the screens in front of you, that will be shared, and as a result, you'll be able to use that as a reference guide to go backwards and forwards. Really importantly, I know a number of you have already been over in the Lander Centre, but our senior staff, our academic staff, will continue to be there after this presentation. Are really happy to continue conversations about courses and pathways available for your son and daughter, and certainly Mr. Coley and I are available tonight, and the two of us and our wider staff will continue to be available throughout the year to answer questions that you have as we prepare for academic courses in 2026. I do also wish to note that there are a number of families that are online this evening watching this live stream, and to each and every single one of you, thank you so much for giving your time on a Friday evening to gain this information. We're incredibly proud of the St Paul's Diploma. We are now in our second full year of the diploma being delivered within our classrooms across this Hamilton campus, but a year prior to that, so it was 3 years ago now, that we had our first pilot of a number of courses at a diploma level in readiness for its implementation last year. Our lessons from last year, and we went through a thorough review, was that the diploma, the programs of study that our young people took, far exceeded what we were anticipating would occur. I had a number of parents, and I do not say this lightly, talking about how engaged their son or daughter was, how on their fridge at home were numbers, and those numbers corresponded to either how many points had been gained thus far, or how many points were still available, or how many points were needed in order to gain the diploma with distinction or with honours. What we saw right the way across the board were numerous examples of young people that really captured the challenge that we put before them. And the challenge of the St Paul's Diploma is to teach longer, because we don't have to stop for a national assessment window, so we spend more time in class in term 4. We believe that that's critical. To teach at greater depth, so to really put a focus on teachers teaching and academic knowledge being critical, all within that framework of making sure that our students, your sons and daughters, are best prepared to gain academic success at NCEA Level 2 and beyond. A little bit earlier this evening, we had parents whose children are moving into the NCEA pathway in 2026, and we explained to them that certainly what we have seen this year is that the Year 11 cohort this year have commenced their diploma studies in the same way that last year's group did, with real energy and with real intent. So we believe in what we are doing. We're excited by the young people who are diving headfirst into this delivery of our diploma, and tonight we get to share with you some of the language. But before we do some of the language or the framework of what it is, I'll hand on over to Mr. Coley, who will start by explaining what our why was for shifting, and then how the building blocks of what we've been teaching in Year 9 and Year 10 combine together to obviously allow this Year 11 instruction to come forward. For those that have daughters that have been at other schools, recognise there's always apprehension around transition and change, and we can just share with you really confidently that our team, within the first couple of weeks of your daughter being here, worked really hard to understand where different knowledge gaps may be, or where your daughter has learned at a higher level, and then we can put attention into other subunits or different topics of knowledge to make sure that she's best prepared to gain success within the diploma framework as well. So no mai haere mai, I'd like to ask Mr. Coley to come forward to address you. Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you, Headmaster. Can we change the slide, please? So firstly, welcome, and I'd just like to go into some of the reasoning on the why, and there was a lot of change in education. Some of you might have heard it bandied around from teachers or in the press, etc. And we looked at the opportunity to how best prepare our students for level 2. I was also in the fortunate position of being in the group that looked intently at what it would look like, and I was also fortunate that my daughter actually was part of the first cohort that went through the diploma, and I could actually track it in real time and look at different areas of the curriculum and how sustainable the pace was, or other things of that sort. So firstly, the preparation for level 2, as the headmaster alluded to, we had longer in the classroom, and we also had a number of points that we thought were our principles, were something, our bedrock, that we wouldn't shy away from. And this was with consultation with teachers, with students prior, students during, etc. Now, I'm not going to go through all these. You can see them on the screen, but I will certainly pick up on a couple. We want to be very inclusive. The design of our assessments in the 4 different types, which I'll get to, you will see there's a range of different assessment types, and that was something that was really, really important to us. We have a collaborative assessment. We still had what you call the normal testing. We had an examination component. We also had a portfolio where they worked towards something over time. But the ability to obviously work singly, work together with others, and also over a period of time was important, and a range of assessment types probably hopefully mirrors the types of things they'll get in the workforce, where it won't just be examination based or test based. We really wanted to create a graduate profile as they move through their Year 11 year and they finish the diploma, to aid them on their search for success beyond school and beyond the school gates, and prepare them for NCA level 2 and level 3 and beyond, be it vocational pathways or tertiary pathways. And there was a lot of research and a lot of visitations to other schools. Interestingly, even last year, there was over 150 schools in New Zealand who did not offer NCA level 1. So it is something, I think that number's increasing. If I look at the Year 9 timetable, and as we work through Year 9 and Year 10 and preparedness for Year 11, I'll just point out a few things. And those sitting here have been through the Year 9, and the Tihoi cohorts are sitting here in Year 10 and remember fondly their Year 9 year. We have 30 periods per week and 60 lessons over a 10-day timetable period. If you look at the core subjects, so to speak, that you would know of, the mathematics, the science and English, we have 8 classes in mathematics, 8 classes in science. English has 7. We also have literacy and numeracy classes on top of this, obviously, and other classes such as science, PE and health, and then some option lines such as graphics or technology or digital, art, drama and music, Spanish, and you have the literacy and numeracy classes that took place as well. And we also had master classes, which are kind of passion subjects or areas of expertise teachers delve into. It could be things like Feed the World, or it's all kind of Minecraft and creating kind of new worlds, and that's all available to see on our website. And religious education and compulsory Te Reo Māori. We moved to year 10, and this is on this campus here rather than down at Tihoi. And once again, we continue with the core subjects. And English, you'll note, has 8 rather than 7 classes over the 10 days. Continue with social studies also, and then we have those type of options. And you can see the option lines there, some new additions such as athlete development, enterprise studies, the learning enhancement unit for students with learning differences takes place, and really some of those classes are dependent on viable class numbers. Moving forward, all importantly, to the diploma and the year 11 timetable. So again, 30 periods per week, or 60 lessons over a 10-day timetable. So they see the students every day, and we think that's incredibly important. Not all schools that occurs at. So mathematics, compulsory. You will see in the subject booklet, and please take the chance to talk to the mathematics teachers over in the Lander Centre about the different courses on offer, from pure mathematics to general mathematics, etc. English is also compulsory, and that has English literature and English, and they will talk to you that, and also the subject information booklet clarifies what it is about. At least one science. You may take more than one science. You cannot take more than 2 sciences. I know some people would like to. We believe in the breadth and the really importance of the breadth of learning at year 11 before specialisation occurs in year 12 and onwards. And so certainly some people do move into level 2 and they pick up 3 sciences. Those who want to go down the engineering route or other things are very particular about the subjects they want to do. And we're very happy with that. But at year 11, it's 2 sciences, please. Then you have options, and this is just some examples. There's a large number of other subjects on offer, so just take this as an example. You might pick music, could go down the economics route, or Te Reo Māori. So 6 subjects is compulsory. You can't do 5, etc. So please have a look and talk to people today about the subjects and ask any questions that are pertinent for you if you have any, if you're unsure about where it heads and how it maps out through to year 12 and 13. So we're a little bit different than some schools. Some schools just have kind of more of a general science in year 11, and they don't specialise, say, for chemistry or physics or biology. We do. We think that's really important. And you can take general science, and general science is something that you have a little bit of each. When you go into level 2, they have an additional earth and space science and things like that, but in year 11, you can choose those particular sciences. We certainly believe that the courses are rigorous. I can attest to that. I saw how hard my daughter worked last year, and others around her, peer groups, and just talking to students in general. And the consistency in which you work pays dividends in the diploma. And like anything, consistency is really important, isn't it? So we believe in examinations. We also believe in rewarding, hard work. And the headmaster will talk to that a little bit later, where we have academic honours, we have distinction, and we have the graduation, and we'll go through the tiers of that later. We also have a variety of assessment types, which we'll talk about shortly. And again, I've talked to the last point there. Headmaster.
Thanks, Mr. Coley. So I get to do some numbers with you, and I know that mathematics on Friday evenings, not everybody's cup of tea, but trying to keep things really simple for you because we believe in simple around here, simple done well. All students, as Mr. Coley has mentioned, study 6 subjects in year 11. They're exposed to 4 different types of assessment throughout the year. So we call these assessments common assessment tasks, and the common assessment task is shortened to the word CATS. So nice and easy in every single subject, so across each of the 6 subjects, there are 4 CATS in each. You'll see that there is a common test, so that's a test that everybody in the class or everyone taking that subject is doing. There is a portfolio of work that students do throughout the year or throughout a term, and then all that work gets placed together. When you think about a portfolio of work, you might think straight away, okay, that is a number of drawings that a student might do within the visual arts course. Yes, that's correct. It could be a number of passages of writing that a student submits over time. It could be a number of case studies that a student puts together within a certain subject. The idea of a portfolio is showing progress or sequenced learning over a period of time, be it half a year, a term, or possibly even the whole year. A collaborative task. So a collaborative task in some subjects that may be a more commerce-based might be to sit down and to work out a product and how to take that product to market and what some of the challenges or opportunities may present, and then to obviously put that into a PowerPoint and to share that within a classroom setting. A collaborative task in a subject like technology when you're in the workshop might be to work on your own project, but then to be a member of a small group that comes and critiques other people's projects, just like you would have in terms of engineering and modern day project management, where many minds make for great outcomes, and then for that teaching staff member to actually assess the students not only on their own project, but to be able to assess them on the ability to give feedback, critique, to give a critical lens on someone else's project. So the very nature of collaboration will look different within each of the subjects. And then into examinations themselves. As Mr. Coley quite rightfully said, we are about robustness and academic rigour. We do believe that students should be sitting examinations, understand what that feels like, to have to go through formative assessment to prepare for that style of assessment, and then to deliver under examination conditions. For some courses, that examination is at the midpoint of year 11. For the majority of courses, that examination typically is in the last couple of weeks of the year 11 course throughout the year. In each of those 4 CATs, a student receives a mark from 0 to 8. So in each subject, there are 32 marks, a maximum of 32 marks that are available to be gained. Across 6 subjects, that equals a total of 192. So these numbers will start to become very familiar to your son or daughter as he or she starts to navigate what their own diploma pathway looks like. What is interesting for us, and well, it's not interesting, what has been confirmed for us is the power of extrinsic motivation. That it's not just about trying to get close to 192, but trying to be rewarded as you get close to that by having the ability to graduate at different tiers. So starting on the right-hand side and working to the left, if a student is to gain 100 points in total across each of those 6 subjects, that student graduates and receives the St. Paul's Diploma at our end of year celebration of academic success. That is a prize giving that's held in this space here for year 9, 10 and 11 students. Every single student who gains the diploma will cross over the sanctuary here to the applause of their peers in the wider community, recognising the achievement that has occurred. For a student that scores anywhere up to 134 points, then it is the obviously graduation of the St. Paul's Diploma that's bestowed upon them. For a student who ends up in the category, the points range 135 to 154, and the 154, that number is just shy of 80%, the student who is in that range graduates, receiving their St. Paul's diploma with distinction. So we know that a number of students, as they track their points across subjects and across the year, are going, that is what I'm trying to target as the end result of a successful completion of my Year 11 studies. And then for a number of students, the idea of pushing towards receiving 155 points or more will see them graduate receiving the St. Paul's diploma with honours. Again, a real special acknowledgement of wonderful endeavour, engagement, and obviously the academic aptitude that shows out in a young person's work. We also recognise that there are some students who will gain over 100 points but not graduate with distinction. However, in gaining over 100 points, they have achieved at the least 28 out of 32 points in an individual subject, showing real strength in that particular subject. So on the day of graduation, we note as they cross and they receive the applause, the acknowledgement of the school, that they have graduated with outstanding achievement in a certain subject or subjects. So we do that again because we believe that extrinsic motivation works, and we do want to celebrate the success of our students at Year 11. What I wish to highlight is we don't say that our cohort, or the total number of Year 11 students is X, and 20% of those can only gain honours, or there are a number of those in terms of a traditional bell-shaped curve, normal distribution curve, that pass or fail. We want students to do well, and if they gain points that mirror the standard that our staff are expecting, then we can have as many students within each of these categories as their performance dictates. So we do want students to gain success, but we won't lower the bar, or we won't raise the bar to have a percentage of students in each different category. Again, their points gained will reflect the amount of work and the quality of the work that's happened at each of those levels. So what I'd like to show you is some of the simple ways in which we report. So you can see here the 4 CATs in progress. So a test, a portfolio, collaborative task, and an examination. And each of those might be at various different levels and for different subjects. So to give you an example, this could be a particular student at the conclusion of their Year 11 studies. This particular student has gained 145. So this particular student has graduated, achieving the St. Paul's diploma with distinction. And you'll see here for this particular student real strength in English, maybe not so strong in terms of history. So receiving some solid points, some solid grades to take through, but certainly in terms of history, like all subjects, marked out of 32. Maybe a student that didn't achieve as highly as they would have wished, or maybe worked incredibly hard and that was the top of the mountain. Yet, when the 6 subjects are all drawn together, a very, very good and outstanding points total, allowing the student to graduate their diploma with distinction. Student number 2. 115 points. This particular student has graduated, and we would be incredibly proud of him or her having graduated, having achieved the St. Paul's diploma. When you look across, comparatively, some really good results in geography, some real strength there. Some other subjects like English, where accessing learning or attaining, achieving in that space was somewhat more difficult. Yet still, in totality, 115 points, and really proudly graduating, moving on to NCA Level 2 in Year 12, having achieved, having gained, having graduated the St. Paul's diploma. And then final student, as an example, a young person who has achieved at 162 points. So graduating, St Paul's Diploma with honours. And the interesting thing about this student's transcript is if you look at the bottom line there, the option of sports science, 24 out of 32 points gained, which is good. Comparative to the other subjects, not as strong, yet still, when the aggregate comes on out, being afforded and being celebrated for gaining the diploma with honours. We share this with you to highlight for you that every single subject matters, every single assessment from day number 1 in year 11 matters. It was interesting talking to some parents at the conclusion of last year where their sons or daughters were right on the borderline and missed by a point or two. So students who ended up getting 153, being 2 points off graduating with honours, and talking to the parents afterwards, saying to them, what was your child's reflection? And them saying, well, actually, my son or daughter did a collaborative task back in term 1, picked a bunch of friends, probably didn't take it as serious as he or she would have wanted to in hindsight, and got 5 points when really could have got 7, and that would have been the difference between achieving with distinction or achieving with honours. Is there any chance people could go back, look at their assessment over the year? Is there any way to possibly find a couple of points there? Because how awesome would it be for him or her to actually be able to graduate with honours? And our response was, what fantastic life learning. The fact that on day 1 assessment started and applying right the way from that first assessment all the way through. This is a really good reminder in life about understanding what is the framework, what is the game, and then making sure that every day front with diligence, front with earnestness, front with endeavour in order to achieve, and not only achieve but to deepen one's academic knowledge and skill set at the same time. So we're incredibly proud of this diploma framework. We are delighted with how our young people have stepped into the space, have taken on board the challenge, and we are seeing already for those who are studying at NCEA Level 2 in Year 12 currently, that they know more and they're able to show more than some of our previous cohorts have been able to do because of the rigour and because of the depth that they've been exposed to through the diploma process. So we share this with you tonight for clarity, so that you can start to understand the language of the diploma speak, and so that as you move to the Lander Centre or continue in the days, weeks ahead with the somewhat difficult task of working out what subjects to choose if you are a young person, or as a parent how to guide your son or daughter in that subject selection, that you can understand the methodology that sits behind our Year 11 framework, and that you can continue to engage with our staff. Please ask them as many questions as possible so that you're well informed and you have lots of confidence and comfort as you prepare your son or daughter in readiness for the diploma framework in 2026. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. As I mentioned at the start, both the PowerPoint and a recording of this particular presentation will be shared over the coming week in our weekly updates. And as always, feel free to drop an email or pop in and see any of our staff if you wish to gain any more information. We'd love to help steer, guide, provide advice as we prepare to be able to direct, to instruct, and most importantly, be able to celebrate the success of your son or daughter in Year 11 and beyond. Ngā mihi nui, I hope you have a wonderful evening. Enjoy the weekend.